Hi, this is Stan. Welcome back to the Crow's Nest Railroad. Well, we're going to leave the shop today and head out to the Saguaro Central Museum for an exciting new locomotive project, I hope. So, join me. Look at this beauty. This is a headlamp from an American steam locomotive, late 60s vintage, I think, 15-inch gauge. This thing is huge, much bigger than I'm used to being around. And the Saguaro Central Museum has this locomotive. It was gifted to them, and it's been on display, but it's never run. It was never completed far enough to actually steam up. So things need to be completed on this locomotive, including even some welds on the boiler. But I get to be a tiny little part of the restoration project on this locomotive, and this is really, really exciting. This number 3 440 American locomotive is one of 4 that were built by Ben Hammer, as I understand. Now, the number 2 and the number 3 are steam locomotives. The number 2 is up in Nevada. This is the number 3 that we're trying to restore here in Arizona. There was also a diesel locomotive and a Tom Thumb vertical boiler. Those are the 4 15-inch gauge locomotives that were built by Ben. I'm going to put a couple of links for you down in the description so that you can see some of the fascinating history behind these locomotives. First, there's the Riverside and Great Northern Preservation Society, and I'll also include their Facebook page, and then the Saguaro Central Railroad Museum. Look, this is a standard railroad spike. It was taken from the Erie-Lackawanna Railroad out near Binghamton, New York many years ago. Look at this though, by comparison. Here are a couple of old spikes that were used out at Saguaro Central for the original piece of 15-inch gauge track that was laid down. These are no longer going to be used. That section of track was pulled up, as I understand it. And now a new project is underway. We've just about completed a loop of track, and the hope is that we're going to be able to run this restored American locomotive under steam on this new circle of track and even beyond as the project continues. All right, here you can see this is the last bit of curved track that needs to be completed before the whole loop is done adjacent to the museum property. There we are looking to the west. Okay, we're going to look north here, and you can see the car barn there. Here it is from the other side, Pottsville Station. And currently that's where the locomotive and the tender are located. Sweeping from the south to the east, you can see the siding and the main track, and right there is the construction area for a building that's being constructed, and there will be a passenger platform at this location as well. So now we're swinging north through the switch there, and then the track will curve off to the left. Okay, there's Tim. Here we are taking inventory of all the components and the measurements. Tim is starting to work on getting that green cladding off. That's Bob there, looking down into the engine. The cladding wraps around underneath. And that's yours truly. I'm messing about with a template for the cab. I've got to do some work on the cab. There's the tender for the number 3. It's a beast. It's a big one. And there's all the bits and parts that have been stripped off to this point. There's the beautiful stack.
Give me a picture of this area down here. Is this what you're going to knurl? The top for the...
Now you can see a lot of the green has been removed, and there's this tongue and groove curved wrapped planking all around the boiler on the front end. That's all got to come off. There are things that need to be done to the boiler, so all of this has to be removed.
It just sits right in there. That happened first. What I'm really after is if there's any longitudinal welds on this tube. It's a pure tube all the way around. I only have to inspect these welds, or is there something else going on?
Can't have diluted sections.
No. That's an interesting thought too. All right, this is good. This is very good. All right, so let's work the next section off.
Well, it had to fit over this ring as well here and then under here.
Right.
This ring's gonna come right off as soon as we get that stuff out of the way.
Got all the bottom of it. Sitting
Yeah.
on the wheel.
So we may have to dig.
There I am working on the window on the fireman's side of the cab. The glass is broken, so I'm having to very, very carefully remove this really tiny molding to get the glass out. This cab was so well built along with the rest of the locomotive that even the small little trim parts were all carefully labeled. That's sort of an indication of the craftsmanship that was used putting this cab together. Well, you know, because I'm only 13, I had to go messing with the work train. So sorry about that. I had to just play around. But it'll give you some action on this video, other than just some static shots. Well, I'd better wrap things up. Next time on part 2, it'll be really exciting. We've got to get the boiler off the chassis and get things moved around so that we can examine the welds and get busy getting the boiler inspected. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you join me right here next time on the Crow's Nest Railroad.